Imagine a life filled with violence, betrayal, and power struggles, a life where danger lurks around every corner and every day could be your last. This was the reality for one of Ireland's most feared gangland figures, Cornelius Price. Recently, Price passed away at 41, but his death was unlike many others in his line of work. He didn't meet his end in a hail of bullets on the streets, but rather in a hospital bed in Wales, succumbing to a brain disease after being in a coma for 16 months. While some may believe that the world is now safer, Price's reign of terror has left an indelible mark on the world. So what led to his notorious reputation? Join us as we dive deep into the brutal life and violent legacy of the infamous mob boss, Cornelius Price. Here we begin. Meet Naily Boy Price, one of Ireland's most notorious gangland bosses, known for forming a powerful alliance with drug boss Owen Maguire, who is now paralyzed. Together, their gang, the Price-Maguire Group, became a dominant player in the Irish drug trade, receiving supplies from other notorious figures like the enigmatic Mr. Big. Price, a member of the Romani culture, ran his empire, one of Ireland's biggest regional drug gangs, from a gated compound in Gormanston, County Meath. Price was also known for being involved in the violent Drogheda feud with gangland killer Robbie Lawler since 2017, when he was in the middle of the conflict as the leader of one of the opposing gangs. This brutal mob boss was believed to have been directly involved in at least 4 murders in Ireland, and the chilling details of these crimes will be uncovered later in this story. Price has been on the radar of Gardaí for about a decade after he appeared out of nowhere in 2013, when he drove a van into a Garda station in Balbriggan, almost hitting an officer. He was sentenced to 3 years imprisonment for reckless endangerment of a Garda, but was released on bail in January 2015, with a condition to stay in a house in Clondalkin. Despite this, Price planned to return to his compound in Gormanston, the ultimate fortress. This compound had only one entrance, a small narrow road, making it nearly impossible to penetrate, especially for Garda. Inside was a hive of activity, with gritty houses, 15 to 20 mobile homes, and heaps of scrap that made it an ideal hideout for organized crime. It was a perfect place to stash illegal drugs and weapons without fear of detection, and it's not hard to imagine why Price wanted to get back there as soon as possible. Assisted by an associate, Cornelius Price staged a fake murder attempt while sitting in a car outside a Clondalkin house. He used this bogus assassination to petition for his bail conditions to be changed, and it worked. Price was allowed to return to his compound, where he felt most in control and surrounded by his own people. This turned out to be one of the biggest mistakes that the authorities could have made, as it was there that he began plotting the double murder of a young couple, which later became known as one of his most heinous crimes. The first murder that Cornelius Price was suspected of was Benny Whitehouse, a drug dealer who had a €20,000 price put on his head. Although they were best friends when they were younger, Price got greedy and paranoid and ended up in a feud over the supply of drugs and weapons. It is believed that Price ordered one of the gang's contract killers to gun down Whitehouse in September 2014. Whitehouse was fatally shot after he dropped off his 2 daughters at school. He had just returned to the car with his wife and was wearing his seatbelt when a gunman approached and opened fire. Whitehouse was a significant character in the underworld, and there was a shock that anybody would dream of taking him out, especially in the horrific manner in which he was killed. It seemed that Price had made a power play, and from that point on, he really started to dominate the area around Louth and Meath. In April 2015, 3 months after Price returned to his fortified compound, 34-year-old Willie Moore and his 21-year-old pregnant girlfriend, Anna Vaslavani, disappeared. The couple had been residing in one of the caravans on Price compound. Willie Moore had a drug problem which drew him there. It was a typical Price method of letting vulnerable people live on his compound, providing them with drugs and at the same time bullying them and forcing them to commit crimes like hiding weapons and drugs. However, when Anna became pregnant, they wanted to leave. Willie wanted to escape the hostile environment and start a family outside it. He asked his mother to help them, and she was on her way from the airport to the compound when the couple suddenly disappeared. They were last seen and heard on April 14 and disappeared in an hour. The last known contact from their phones was at 2:57 p.m. when Anna rang Willie's mother and was heard calling for help. Since that moment, there has never been any sign of them despite extensive searches of the compound. According to available intelligence, Garda are convinced they were killed and their bodies were disposed of by Price's gang. It may or may not be a chilling coincidence, but simultaneously, the couple disappeared. There was a huge fire at the compound, feeding the horrific theory that the bodies had been burnt in that fire. The Mourn family has been pleading for someone to give them more information about their son and daughter-in-law, but Price's gang has been mocking them ever since. According to The Guardian, it was believed that Price feared Willie and Anna had knowledge about his gang's activities, specifically Price's direct involvement in the murder of Benny Whitehouse, and that he wanted to eliminate them. Willie's mother stated that her son was murdered because he had information about Whitehouse's murder and he was afraid to release it. In 2018, Price's associate Owen McGuire was shot multiple times by Robbie Lawler, which left him paralyzed and sparked the Drogheda feud. Lawler's brother-in-law, notorious drug dealer Richard Carberry, was killed in retaliation, with Price believed to be involved. Despite Lawler and Price being sworn enemies, they were similar in their appetite for violence and had numerous run-ins over the drug trade in North Dublin. Price attacked Lawler in Cork prison in 2018, leaving him needing nearly 30 stitches. Lawler was also the prime suspect in the savage killing of teenager Keane Mulready Woods in January 2020. The 17-year-old was lured to the house of one of Lawler's associates, tortured and murdered, and his dismembered body was found in various locations. The story goes that Lawler believed Keane provided logistical support to Carberry's killers and ordered the delivery of Keane's head to Price's compound, knowing Price was fond of the teenager. Following Quinoa Reddy Woods' death, the criminals responsible for delivering a gruesome package were spooked by the attention of the Garda. As a result, the primary suspect, Price, fled to the UK, where he had a vast network of associates within the traveler community. It is believed that Price intended to seek revenge for Keane's murder from his new base in the Midlands. 3 months after the teenager's death, Robbie Lawler was gunned down in Belfast, and a video emerged showing Price celebrating his death. According to Gandhi, Price was a leading figure among these 3 criminal gangs who arranged Lawler's assassination in the Ardoin area, where he was lured under false pretenses. After arriving in the UK, Price attempted to establish himself as a referee for bare-knuckle boxing matches and a mediator in criminal disputes. However, he was unaware that he was attracting the attention of specialized police. Just 4 months after Lawler's death, detectives were on the trail of Price and his group, which included the Limerick criminal Gur Dundon, who is 37 years old. After changing his name to Darren McLean, Price and Dundon were among 5 men arrested by Staffordshire police in July 2020 for a £300,000 blackmail and kidnapping scheme targeting supposed rival criminals. Upon learning of the plan, the police established a surveillance operation. Although Price faced charges, he was later determined to be medically unfit to stand trial after being diagnosed with a brain condition that resulted in him falling into a coma in October of the same year. Following a long trial at the beginning of 2023, Dundon was the only person convicted of the scheme. Unfortunately, Price's condition deteriorated rapidly, and he suffered a slow and painful death. There have been some bizarre theories surrounding the cause of his brain disease, such as the suggestion that Price, an unpopular figure, had been poisoned or repeatedly hit in the head with a dumbbell during a jail fight. Cornelius Price is survived by his wife and 2 children. So what do you think of the brutal life of mob boss Cornelius Price? Comment below and subscribe for more.